Hi everyone, it's Christy from Green Eyed Tarot. Today I am back with another episode of Spread It Out Sunday. So Spread It Out Sunday is a series I've been doing on my channel where I dig into the vaults, which the vault is just my tarot and oracle deck collection. And I look for a spread from one of the guidebooks from a deck that I already have. The idea behind this series is that we all have many decks in our collection and in our libraries, and each deck comes typically with a pretty decent sized guidebook. And in those guidebooks are usually tarot spreads that were designed and developed to go along with those decks. And if you're anything like me, sometimes with a lot of decks, I don't even look at the guidebooks in certain decks. And I feel like that means I'm probably missing out on a lot of really good tarot spreads. So each week I am diving into, like I said, the vault and pulling out a deck and picking a spread from the guidebook. And this week I am very excited because it's one of my favorite decks of all time, and that is the Dream Keepers Tarot by Liz Houston. This is a mass market deck. This is by US Games Systems. Now, this deck I have talked about a lot on my channel. Like I said, one of my favorites. I filmed a deep dive of the major arcana, so I will link that in the cards above if you're interested. So I did a deep dive. Like I said, it's one of my favorite decks. It has one of the best guidebooks I've ever read for a tarot deck that I have. So this is one of the decks that I did actually read the entire guidebook cover to cover. I've been in it several times. Like I said, it is just one of the best written guidebooks. The messages are absolutely amazing. The amount of time and effort and passion and heart and soul that Liz Houston put into this deck is amazing, and you can feel it come through the deck. At least for me, I feel that. You know, she spent many years creating the artwork and creating this deck, and it was a journey, a spiritual journey for her, and it's just amazing, you know, what she created. And I think it has such a unique voice and just a unique energy, this deck. So today we're going to look at one of the spreads that's in the guidebook for the Dream Keepers Tarot, and that is the Path of the Heart spread. So it is on page 12 of the guidebook. So if you have this deck and you want to reference the guidebook, it's on page 12. It's the Path of the Heart spread. So this is a 7-card spread. It says the most important question one can ask when contemplating a new direction or course of action is, does this path have a heart? Consult this spread when looking for clarity, direction, or in discovering the heart of the path you are walking. So this is amazing because it's just very synchronous. There's a lot of synchronicity. I don't know how to say that word. Anyway, there's a lot of synchronicity today because in the Witch Sister Facebook group, which I'm an admin of, I posted the prompt for this week's card, and it has to all do with your path and like your true path and being on your path. So I thought, this is amazing. I had no idea that this was going to match up to this when I chose this. And then I pulled the card for what our deep dive card would be for this week, and it kind of all matches up. So it's talking about the path and discovering the heart of the path you're walking. So I love that. Anyway, so 7 cards, Path of the Heart spread. So we are going to get into this. Okay, so card number 1, where I am currently. Card number 2, where I am going. Card number 3, my fear. Card number 4, my aspiration. Card 5, something I would like to change. Card 6, something to be grateful for. Card 7, the heart of the path. Okay, so 7 goes in the middle. Okay, so I'm just trying to look at this configuration here. All right, I'm actually going to move this out of the way. Put it over there so that we have a lot of space for this. Okay, so 7 goes in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I'm going to have to refer to this again. Pardon me. So these are the cards. If you haven't seen this deck before, these are the backs. It's pretty standard US Games cardstock. Not bad, easy to shuffle, but this is an amazing deck. All right, so let's go. I've already shuffled the deck a few times before I turn my camera on. So where I am currently, okay, and where am I going? So 1 and 2, so 1 goes on the bottom. I just want to make sure I get this configuration right. And I apologize. I'm just getting over being sick. I had the dreaded virus, and I'm still dealing with a little brain fog and just kind of general ick, but I'm here and I'm ready to spread it out with this amazing spread from the Dreamkeepers Tarot. Okay, so number 1 is going to be at the bottom here. The Page of Cups. Okay. And I don't think I'm going to be able to fit this in the frame, so we're going to have to zoom out. All right. For some reason, my camera just doesn't want to zoom out. I don't know what's going on. All right, so we got the Page of Cups. We're going to have to zoom out even more, I think. All right, so we have the Page of Cups for number 1. Let's see what the second card is going to give us. The Queen of Wands. Ooh. I love this deck so much. All right. And then we have number 3, which will be on this side. And that is my fear. So let's see what we get for my fear. The 4 of Swords. Ooh. Fear and the Swords card. Of course. Number 4, my aspiration. So that's going to go over here on this side. So my aspiration, the 8 of Swords. Why would we be ever aspiring to the 8 of Swords? All right. Looks like we're going to have a juicy one here. Card number 5, something I'd like to change. Something to be grateful for. Okay. So card number 5, I'm definitely going to have to zoom us out a little. Card number 5. Let's see what we're going to get. All right. It's the Fool. The Fool. Okay. What else do we got here? I love this deck so much, as I have stated. I could go on about this deck all day long. Oh, the High Priestess. All right, we're pulling some major arcana. And number 7 is the middle. That's the Heart of the Path. All right, interesting. Pulled some major cards here. All righty. Like I said, it's looking to be shaping up into a juicy little spread here. The Page of Swords. So we have 2 pages. We have a lot of swords. Okay. All right. So let me get this down. I'm going to have to get the book out again because I can't. All right. Let's try to see if we can get all these cards in here. All right. I'm going to stop for 1 minute so I can see if I can get all of these cards in the frame. Okay. I think we got everything here in the frame. For the most part. I tried. Okay, so what did we pull for our first card? Again, I'm going to have to keep referring to this guidebook because it's a lot of cards. Okay, so card 1 is where I am currently. So we got the Page of Cups. And so the Page of Cups, we're in our emotions, right? Cup suit. So where am I currently? I feel like the Page of Cups has that really like imaginative, right? Like almost like a dreamer, like kind of sensitive. So maybe right now we're in our feelings, you know, like where are we currently? We're in our feelings. Maybe we're like, we have that sort of, we haven't really mastered like emotional intelligence yet, right? We're like, maybe like we're having lots of feelings. We're being overly sensitive. And like maybe we need to validate, we feel like our feelings are not being validated, or we have to validate our own feelings. I think of this card as like an opportunity, right? For some sort of, emotional balance, like an opportunity to balance our emotions, to get in touch with our emotions, to become more emotionally intelligent, right? Because I feel like the Page, we're like very unrefined at that stage, and like by the time we get to the King, it's like someone who's super in touch with their emotions and has that good emotional intelligence. So I feel like that's where we are currently. Where are we going? Number 2 is up here. So that's the Queen of Wands. So where am I currently and where am I going? So the Queen of Wands is that super charismatic, right? We think that fiery energy. And it's embodying someone who's super, like I said, has that charisma and confidence. So where do I want to get to or where am I going is being feeling more confident. Because if we're a page, right, we're not, that kind of makes sense. One, where are we going? Like the page, we're making that progression. We're moving from page to queen, right? Which is sort of like a growing up, right? Sort of maturing in some way. So, but a Queen of Wands is like strong, right? Like I said, that charisma is bold, is like feeling confident in like speaking their mind, right? And speaking their heart and speaking what they're feeling. So maybe, again, where I'm going is I'm trying to get to this place where I'm confident in my emotions, right? This Page of Cups where I'm confident and I feel bold enough and I have that sort of fiery energy behind me where I have that confidence. Where I feel like I've become more skilled, right? I've refined, like we said, we refined some of those skills. So where am I going is number 2. Number 3 is the fear. So the 4 of Swords, which I feel like the 4 of Swords is like one of the more gentler swords cards, if that makes any sense. I feel like it's that time of like rest, right? And restoration, or just feeling like you're in need of deep healing. So maybe the fear in the 4 of Swords is that you're not going to be able to get there. Like you're not, there's not a lot of time for that slowing down or really to pay attention to these things that you want to pay attention to, like your emotions, and becoming more in tune with those emotions and being able to move through them instead of being overly sensitive, and get to that place where you can be confident and not intimidated by feelings or the way people are reacting to your feelings. So the 4 of Swords is maybe saying, like the fear is that you don't have that ability to stop and rest and restore and connect with what you need to get where you're going. That you're not taking that opportunity, where we need to sort of, it's the swords, right? So maybe sharpening our focus. Like the fear is that like we're getting so muddled in these emotions and wanting to be able to work through the emotions and have clear emotional intelligence and be confident in that the fear is that we're not going to be able to focus enough to be able to do that, to make that progression from where I am to where I'm going. So that's what I see as 4 of Swords. Okay, so my aspiration card was number 4, and that is the 8 of Swords, which is, like I said, why would I ever aspire into the 8 of Swords? So let me see. So the 8 of Swords, and we could always go to this actual guidebook. Like I feel like I talked about it so much and it's such a good guidebook. We can always dig into the guidebook here and see what Liz Houston has to say about the 8 of Swords. That might be a good idea, because that'll give us a little bit of a little bit of an idea of what the guidebook is like in case you don't have this deck. So let me get to the 8 of Swords in this guidebook. Okay. So this is our aspiration. Let's see. So the 8 of Swords. I love this card. Okay. Feeling trapped inside a self-imposed prison, pervasive fears and doubt, a solitary figure stands quietly in the river of life, her face displaying a mood of pensive melancholy. Despite her open heart, she's unable to see clearly due to the elaborate, somewhat translucent mask. With her arms folded neatly behind her, she's unable to move, regardless of her mighty green wings. The swords surround and keep her in place, and their message is clear. She cannot pass through the same way she came. The only way out is forward, and any other direction will result in considerable damage. Okay, so reading that from the guidebook, that's giving me a lot more clarity on the aspiration. So our aspiration is maybe to move forward, right? The only way, not go backwards, is to that forward motion, that forward movement. It says the only way out is forward. It says the Eight of Swords represents feeling restricted, insecure, isolated, and powerless. So there's that Page of Cups energy, that insecurity, I feel like a little bit, that feeling like unrefined and insecure in like our abilities to connect with our emotions clearly, to have like clear. And so the Eight of Swords, our aspiration maybe is to move beyond, right? To move beyond that insecurity, move forward. Like I said, the only way out is forward. The problems or situations might themselves be real, but the fears and stories wrapped around them, not necessarily. So our Four of Swords fear, our aspiration is to move beyond that, move forward. So the Four of Swords was our fear. So that fear of not being able to focus. The Eight of Swords, our aspiration is to move forward. Don't move back. Don't look sideways. Don't try to get around it, but to move through it and out of that sort of mentality, that imprisonment mentality, that victim. So our aspiration is to move out of that victim mentality. It says when the Eight of Swords appears, it suggests that perhaps you're feeling restricted by a circumstance, trapped in a situation that was created in part due to misguided choices from the past. So misguided choices when you were a page on our way to the Queen. Like maybe that's kind of where I'm getting. So the guidebook, like I said, is amazing. There's so much in the guidebook. She gives an entire page and almost a half, and then the divinatory message, and then keywords for upright and reverse. So she goes into what the card is showing you, the imagery on the card, which I think is amazing. I think that's so key. So she has the name of the card. She actually has like a phrase, like a key phrase. Then she goes into what we're seeing in the cards. Despite her wings, the swords are around her, but not in front of her. Like, so it's giving you a really good idea of what the imagery. That's why this deck and the guidebook is like, this is one of those decks, like the guidebook is it had so much more layer to this because of what you're seeing in the cards. And like, the cards are so beautiful. They're so ethereal, and they're so like quirky too, and weird in so many ways. And like, but like having her explain like what everything symbolizes, it just adds so much more meaning. So I think that's where we're going with the Eight of Swords in our aspirational spot. So number 5 is something that I would like to change. So number 5, we pulled the Fool. Like, so something that I would like to change. I mean, just looking at the Fool as, and like not looking at it obviously as like being foolish, but something that I would like to change maybe I want to change the fact that I'm not embodying that Fool energy, that sort of ready for anything, like I don't know where I'm gonna land, and maybe just trusting trusting the process, right? The journey. So something I would like to change. So maybe that first step, like the fact that I'm not taking that first step. I'm not looking at the potential. So something I'd like to change is embodying the Fool more, to see that potential, to move from this page and Queen, like this page to Queen, upward, forward, again, out, like forward movements, to feeling that more refinement in our emotional stability and emotional intelligence and our confidence and being bold in that. So maybe that's the Fool. That's something that I would like to change, is that just taking the step and embodying that possibility, that potential, without the fear, of like that I'm not going to be able to do it, or the fear of like I'm not going to be able to focus or rest enough. Just take the step that you have to do. So maybe that's something that I want to change, something I would like to change. 6 is something to be grateful for, which is the High Priestess, which is, I feel like, the High Priestess, something to be grateful for. The High Priestess is, that intuition, right? That the knowledge, something to be the guidance that you're getting, just from the universe, right? This collective unconscious energy. She's sort of she's standing above it all. Like, I love this card because she looks like she's in a nest, right? Which gives us that feeling that she's lofty and like above, and not above us, like better than us, but just that knowledge, right? That's there, that's out there that we can access. So like something to be grateful for is definitely just that knowledge and that intuition and knowing that we have that guiding, that guiding spirit there to help us access that sort of unconscious knowledge, that wisdom, that, so I feel like that's definitely something to be grateful for. Our intuition, our inner knowledge, our access to that, our being able to tap into that. So that's something that's definitely, I see that. And card 7 is the heart of the path, which is the Page of Swords, which is so interesting that we got 2 pages, and for where I am now, and then also the heart of the path. So the Page of Swords, again, that unrefined sort of energy, where we haven't quite made it to, to the mastery level yet, right? Obviously. And it's more of that raw energy. So the heart of the path, I feel like is being curious. That Page of Swords is like that card of curiosity. That's something that like I feel like I've been talking about so much, and just in my life and in work, is this coming from that stance of curiosity. So being curious, wondering, like asking questions, posing questions of yourself, posing questions to the universe, to other people. So I feel like the heart of the path is like that curious energy. And I love in this card the way the figure in it, she's sort of listening. She has her head tilted, like, and she has her hand up as if she's like listening for something. Like she's so curious and wants to know, like, wants to know everything, right? Is curious about everything. And so that's like, I feel like that High Priestess energy, that's connecting us there, what we are thankful for. So the heart of this whole path, the heart is being curious, and being curious about where we are and where we're going and how all of this connects. And that's really at the heart of this spread. So I feel like that makes total sense in terms of that curiosity piece. And I love that that's at the center, and that's the real heart. And I think the Fool energy, like I really love this Fool energy and the High Priestess energy and these pages, sort of you're on a path. So you're always going to be, at some point on your path, you're always going to be a page, right? You're always somewhere with something that you're working on, with a project, with anything, with a relationship, with any part of your life. You're always going to be a page at some point, and you're always going to be, I feel like we always are striving to get to this. I like this line in the middle here, this page, and then a Page of Swords. So heart and mind, like that balance of heart and mind there. I love that, the cups and the swords, and balancing those two things and getting to this wand energy, this Queen of Wands who's bold and charismatic and confident and sort of outgoing, right? And it just feels comfortable, like in her own skin. So to me, this line up the middle embodies that, this like linear, and then the stuff, the things around it that we're seeing. It's really giving us that, that path, this sort of path, and how we're going to be helped along the way. So this is the Path of the Heart spread from the Dream Keepers Tarot. Just again, one of my favorite decks of all time. It has such a good guidebook. Just pulling it out, and it just makes me want to pull this out and work with it. So it's another reason I love this series that I'm doing, and it's just really, really connecting me to things that I have on my shelf and decks that I really have loved working with, and just getting back into it and just seeing this imagery. I don't know, it's getting me so excited because I love this deck so much. So please let me know your thoughts on this spread, what you think about it. I think this is a great spread to do with any deck. I feel like this is a really great spread. Like I said, I love this this line here with the heart. I love the visual of it. It's really helping me to tie it all together to make this narrative through all the cards. So let me know your thoughts. If you have the Dream Keepers, what do you think about it? Do you love it? Have you struggled to work with it? Have you read the guidebook? Because it's so good. So I would suggest doing that. I would love to know your thoughts in the comments. If you haven't done so already, I would love it if you would subscribe so we can continue on this Spread It Out Sunday series, and we can continue going through these spreads together. And please, I would also love it if you gave this video a thumbs up. That would be really helpful. And I look forward to next Sunday when we explore more spreads, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.